Welcome to the Breach to Freedom. Today we are here live and direct with each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us in this edition on speaking your truth to power, unlocking your authentic power through the art of positive affirmation. Absolutely, the best way to be able to engage is to have a positive mindset. That's going to guide you to speak your truth. Remember, your truth comes from within. Your truth comes from what you know and how you know it. So, welcome to us, wherever you're joining from. Thank you for joining the Bridge to Freedom. It's a community where we come together and we are able to ensure that together we're sharing and caring and passing on information and knowing that as people, as professionals, as personal community people, we will always have the need to speak the truth. The truth, we say, is bitter. Sometimes the truth is the truth. And the truth that you speak is what you bring your authenticity out. Of course, some truth, will that mean that you are going to speak the truth that people would accept? Maybe not. Does it matter? Maybe not. Do you need to speak your truth? Absolutely, positively, yes. You have to speak your truth. And the best way to do that for some of us who know that in this world, in this day and age, that you have all the powers to be in various segments of your life, in various segments of what you do, you've got to understand how best can you speak this truth, because this truth is within you. Of course, this truth cannot come out positively if you do not have positive affirmations. You have to ensure that you carry that positivity. The power of positive affirmation is so real. It is so real, it's so germane that you have to understand that you are the individual who carry that. When you repeat positive statements about yourself out loud, that really tells you in your subconscious of the power you carry. So when you venture to speak the truth to power, you're still going in that comfortable, nice setting of love and still speaking your truth. Because your truth to power, in some cases, when we hear that, we're thinking, oh, truth to power, you're going to rough handle this individual because they're your leader. You don't need to speak truth to power in a rude way. No. If you have positive affirmations within you, every communication you engage with will bring positivity. The truth will be in it. It doesn't mean that your truth will be accepted. That's why it's so different and it's so sometimes very difficult, because you have to play it in your head a little bit and see, is this the way? How does it sound? Like we always hear, there are too many ways to skin a cat. I could say, good morning with a smile. Or I could say, good morning. All of those things, I still say good morning, but which will be the best and preferred one you hear? I bet you is the one that has that positive, deep connotation of my meaning, my well meaning of wanting to say good morning to you, not just saying it for the ritual of saying it, but saying it from the deep heart. And we can tell, we are all human. We can feel when positivity comes through us. Even we might not agree, guys, and that's where we really kind of struggle. We might not agree when that is spoken, but if it's spoken out of love, if it's spoken out of positive affirmation, then it's going to land softly and it's going to land better to that individual. They won't need to accept right now, but they can think back and say that it was spoken out of love. It was spoken with facts. It's not emotional, it's factual. What are the benefits of speaking positive affirmations? And I know you're thinking, it's not just about speaking truth to power, it's even about you. When you speak positive affirmations, you're affirming the truth of who you are. You've got to know who you are and what you want to be. What is in the future that you want to be. And this has so many pretty powerful benefits when you do that. Here are just a few of things that you can look at. Speaking positive affirmations can help you to change your thoughts and your beliefs about yourself. A lot of times, the thoughts and the beliefs we carry as a result of maybe some historical data, some historical connotation. Oh, I'm black, I'm female, I have accent, so I can't go this place, I can't go that place. In my case, when I was in corporate America, I had all those people, all those strikes, and they made sure that they reminded me that those strikes existed. But did I receive those as strikes? No, I didn't, because I had positive affirmation. I knew that what matters to people is your ability to ensure that you serve them, that you show kindness, and you're able to lead and serve and care. All of those things doesn't matter if you're doing it with an accent. So for me, I didn't let that stop me. Of course, people needed to do something to checkmate and to stop and intimidate me. So you are listening to me now. The reason you need to be part of the Bridge to Freedom is so that you and I and share some of our experiences and how we overcame. For me, how I overcame was to continually do more work and more work in positivity and making sure that I was always ready. And I'm sure some of you leaders who are listening to me or that will listen later, you would agree that if you do not positively affirm yourself and accept who you are and present yourself the way you know how, in an authentic way, and not trying to be like the Joneses, it's going to be difficult because you have a brand and that's you. People call my name, they can think of whatever they want to think of. That will be different than when they call your name and what they want to think of. It doesn't mean one is bad or the other. It just means that we've had relationships with those people. So speaking positive affirmation can help to manifest your desires into reality. Because when people see you, oh, they think you have the solutions. And you're thinking, I don't even know what is next. You're thinking, I don't know the next thing. But because of that positive affirmation, because of what those people believe in you and they think you can do, you're going to dig deep and see, how do you find these solutions? How do you make sure that these people leaning on your shoulders do not get disappointed? How do you make sure that these people who are leaning on you understand that they too can find themselves from whatever and wherever they are, but it's going to take a process. So speaking positive affirmations helps to boost your self-confidence and your self-esteem. Guys, self-confidence and self-esteem is so germane in life. You've got to believe in yourself before anybody else kicks their belief in you. If you do not believe in yourself, it's going to be difficult. Of course, you're lucky sometimes. We're lucky we'll have some leaders who would pull us out and help us to serve our way to greatness. But in this day and age, when everybody's me, myself, and I, you've got to find how to build yourself, how to have that self-confidence. Self-confidence is not just about how smart you are. It's not about how knowledgeable you are. It's about confidence, the ability to present, to project that which you believe you are in your communication. So as someone who wants to speak truth to power, what is power? People are in leadership position and automatically they have power to be our bosses, or they are representing us legislatively. They have the power to represent us so that they can know exactly what do we need, what do we want, and they go there and they represent us. But here you are, the one on the receiving end. You need to know that, yes, because they have those authorities to do the work, that they are there for you, to serve you. That is for sure. They're there to serve us. So you can't go in as someone in a needy situation. You can't go in as someone who is hopeless or who is feeling like, oh, they're doing me a favor. Yes, they're doing their job and they ought to do their job. But if you go in with that self-confidence and self-esteem is no arrogance, it's just knowing what the rules and mode of communication, mode of operations are. And then you walk in that purpose and you go do what you need to do. And you do it with kindness, with love, with sincerity, and knowing that you won't always be perfect. Maybe along the line, you are going to find ways that maybe whatever you're trying to say doesn't come across the way you mean it. Up immediately, you have to be comfortable enough to say you are sorry and restate what you carry, what you're trying to say. And when you are someone who deals in positive affirmation, it does not matter, guys, what the truth that you're about to speak to a power. The power could even be the power in your home. Maybe you're in the home and you have young leaders who you need to communicate with. And then you know that some of their belief system is unique, and it will be difficult to get it across. You still don't stop from getting it across. You just have to play it in your head and see how would you get it across, so that it shows that you're communicating with respect, and you're communicating out of love, and not just out of telling them what to do because you say you're their parents. No, if they know that you're communicating out of love and out of care, the tendency that they would embrace that will be hard. So speaking truth to power is not just about thinking about a leader that you're trying to present, the leaders in your home. Because these young leaders are there, and they're going to hear and see what we do. And that you can take it on to your work. Because charity begins at home. When we're able to get all these people to understand that you've got to think of yourself as somebody that's relevant to the world. You have to have the belief system that you are someone that the world needs, and that you need the world. When you see all of that together, then you're not going to feel too important, and you're not going to feel less important. You're going to feel like I've got to have enough to share, to care with the world. So speaking positive affirmations helps to boost your self-confidence all the time. It can also help to change the mood and the outlook of life. When you have a positive affirmation, when you have a positive spirit, even though you don't know what the resources and how you're going to get the answers you need, but you cannot be hopeless. Because when you're hopeless, the hopeful people around you who wants to help you, they won't know where to start. They will come from a pity patty angle. But that's not what you need at that moment. You need solution. You have specific problem. So when you speak truth to power, it's got to come in a way that you're positive. You have affirmation. So that affirmation has to come from you. How to craft or recite effective affirmation? You've got to create affirmations that you know are relevant to you. And affirmations doesn't mean that you don't do the work, guys. I don't want anybody to leave this session and think that, oh, if I affirm this, that means it will get done. The only way your positive affirmation would metamorphose into something is based on your experiences and what you want to do and what you're doing and what you're able to do. So it's not just speaking words just because you want to speak. It's got to be words that comes that you know in your subconscious that it's come to fruition for you before. For me, when I speak positive affirmations, I'm thinking back to the days when I was a teller in corporate America, being a young immigrant, going through all of the pain and aches of corporate America with an MBA, starting as a teller, and just going through the spiel of life, and looking at myself and thinking, listen, I have an MBA. That's not that's not the beginning of telework. But you know why I had to do that? I had to get my foot into the door, because I know that I didn't have work experience. I didn't have anything corporate in the system. And I knew that I wanted to be a vice president. So it didn't matter to me that I have to start from the lows of the lows. But I came with positive affirmation. I came with the ability, like I've always used this word and I'll keep using it, volunteering strategically to ensure that I learn from those who know. And I carry my positivity around so that I don't become someone who is irritable. I don't walk around like, oh, I have an MBA and I'm a teller and I need to get out of being a teller. No, I don't need to tell them that. I showed what I needed to do, what I needed to learn. And when the time was right, I got into where I belong, because that's what happens. When you show people your action, in addition to the affirmation, you've got to be able to show the action. So when you're speaking truth to power, it is not the time to be pointing fingers and just blaming somebody. You're trying to lovingly give them feedback on what is needed, because number one, whatever you're giving feedback on is for the good of a bigger cause. Hopefully it's not just about you. If it's for a bigger purpose, then you've got to come correct, so that we do it together and help each other to help the greater masses. Because there are people leaning on our shoulders, guys. There are people leaning on our shoulders. So if we do not speak truth to power, the powers to be might not know. They might have that blind spot that doesn't show them what is deficient. That blind spot. And if they have some sycophants around them, that might also even blind them more. So you can't blame such a leader that you're going to speak truth to, that they're not listening. So it takes you understanding all of the impediments that they face for you to be able to stand correct and make that and not get into the office politics or the shenanigans, all the murmurings and stammerings and all of those things that we do, and we don't speak to the face of the individual. But when you go correctly with information. You craft and recite effective affirmations, and the best affirmations are personal, positive, and present tense. It's like you are claiming it right now. There should be something you want to achieve or something you appreciate about yourself. And when you can think of what you appreciate about yourself, when you're now going to have a communication with a leader, you're not going there to just talk down at them, just to prove that you can talk. No, you immediately switch and think, what if I were this leader? How do I want somebody to speak with me? Granted, I'm not saying the leader is right. They probably need to be told where they belong. But if you tell them where they belong, what good is that going to do for the cause of why you're trying to communicate with them? So when I say speaking truth to power, I mean having wisdom, having that emotional intelligence to be able to leverage how you speak with how you feel and how you communicate, because communication is a two-way street. So when you're crafting your affirmations, be sure to keep the following in mind. Make them personal. See yourself in roles, having goals, desires that you have met, that you will meet. Have positivity be your DNA. Let that be what you can do. Avoid using negative terms. I don't, I won't, can't. You don't think of that. You can do all things. You can do all things. We can do all things. It will take process, it will take time, and whatever time it is designed to be is when it would be. And if it's not right this moment, that doesn't mean you're not right. It just means this moment is not right for you. Your rightness right now means that you're not right for whatever that situation is. That should not denounce you from positively affirming yourself, your situations around you. So that makes your communication a lot easier. It makes your communication easier. Make them believable. Believe in the power of your affirmations and let it show to people that what you're saying, you mean. If you have examples to share, share it. So for those who are in the bridge to freedom, come on, let's talk about how we can walk together, how you can know that together we can do so much and much more. There's nothing that can stop us but us. Once you have your affirmations ready, it's time to recite them. Say whatever you want to say that will set your day right. When your day is set right, guys, nothing will distract you. It will be difficult for you to let something distract you because you already have an agenda for the day. You already send the day on a nice journey of you having positivity. So when somebody comes with their shenanigans or they just come with their murmuring, you immediately give them the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, maybe they woke up at the wrong side of bed, and then you don't make anything of it. I remember again when I was in my corporate America, when I come in and I say good morning, occasionally when I've had people say, what's so good about the morning? I didn't take it personal. Immediately, I knew that the frame of mind for that individual was not quite right, that maybe they were going through something or they just woke up and things didn't go right. I didn't take it personal, but it takes wisdom to be able to know that and not take it personal. My own training is to be polite and courteous around people. So whether you respond or you don't respond, it doesn't matter. But I never saw somebody say, what's so good about the morning? So the first time I heard that, that took me by surprise. I didn't take it personal. I just kind of tossed in my head that what would make anybody say that what's so good about the morning just because you woke up. But that was not the place for me to be telling such a person that just because you're alive and you woke up and you can be at work, that's a course. They were not in the right frame of mind. Otherwise, they won't even alter such a situation. So when you're speaking truth to power, you've got to have positivity. You've got to go with positive demeanor because the person you're going to speak truth to might already know that you're a vocal person, that you do like to express yourself. So they're coming all armed, waiting to hit it on. And maybe the first word you say, boom, it hits them on the wrong chord. And that's the end of the conversation. So what's the purpose if you can't get the communication along? There's no purpose. So you already know that you're going with that mental frame of mind, that physical and that emotional well-being to say, you know what? I am bigger than this. I am not going to let anything stop this communication, because this communication, for the bare minimum, is not just about me, it is about us. So the us in the equation, you've got to remember those us that you need to speak on behalf might not even know how to get to such people. So you are that bridge. So because you're that bridge, you've got to be able to understand how you would deal with communication so that you don't break the communication. You don't stop what needs to be communicated, that the leader who you want to speak the truth to would understand. Because when you speak to someone and it's something that has to do with you wanting to have a change, to see a change, it's not just about the speaking, it's about the action that comes out after the speaking. What is that action that you expect? And if how you come across doesn't give them that ability, it doesn't give the conversation even an opportunity to start, it's just a waste of time. So it just means that you're never going to be able to pass go. And that communication will die dead on arrival. You don't want that. So you've failed those who maybe are waiting and wanting to have you serve and represent them. Because if you can't get the communication across, then there's nothing that you can serve and sell. So remember, guys, is very, very important. Very, very important. And all of us can do it. Honestly, all of us can do it. And I tell people, I say, you know what? One thing I hated most in my life was speaking. And I think I've shared the story. When I was growing up in my country, I did not have to ask for anything. It was natural. I was the baby of the family. So I was used to things just being given and done. The right things are being done. So I didn't know how to ask for anything. And then I didn't have to speak, because if I didn't have to ask for anything, I just was just a regular, lucky, blessed child. And that was it. I'm not saying we were rich or anything, but we were comfortable. And by the grace of God, that was the contentment that I brought to America. But one thing we were taught is hard work. That was stress like no man's business. And I had mentors, my sisters, my brothers, who were already living such a life. Our father was big on ensuring that we work hard, and that when you put your work in, nobody can stop you. But when you don't put the work in, then you're going to have a problem. I mean, granted, he was very influential in our town, but still, that did not mean that we didn't have to do what we needed to do. So I got to America, of course, and I wasn't used to speaking. Now I'm in corporate America, still working hard, meeting my goals, doing all of that service and all that, but never wanting to express myself in meetings. And of course, I told you how that came about. I delivered myself by going for trainings, because I knew that there was so much I needed to say that has to be said. And who better can say than me? Because these are things I've lived. They're not experiences that I Googled. So if I can share it, who else can? So fast forward, that's history now. My fear has turned to passion. So when you're speaking truth to power, you cannot be afraid. You cannot be afraid. And you know what? There's some affirmations that helps you mentally, physically, and emotionally. You have to feel safe. You have to feel loved. You have to feel like you are enough, and you have to feel worthy and strong. And all of this doesn't mean you're perfect. You just have to understand that one scenario or the other, once upon a time, had made you to feel it, all of this. So now you want to leave it, you want to express it. So understanding the power of language and belief systems is very, very germane. And the words that you speak have power. Trust me. How you speak it has power. You've got to understand that. And once you've spoken some words, it's gone. Words are like eggs. Once you break them, it's gone. The liquid is there. You can't put a broken egg together. You cannot. So remember, before you open your mouth to speak, be considerate of that other individual. Don't speak in anger. Do not speak in anger, because when you speak in anger, those words might be forgiven, but they would not be forgotten. So remember that. And then create, and don't do things that will create and destroy relationship. Because when those words come out and they hit the wrong chord, that could be you just close the door on a helper of destiny that maybe wanted to locate you and help you. I'm not saying be afraid to speak. I'm saying find a way to speak in an authentic, caring way, so that you are not just speaking hurriedly out of anger. And the positive affirmations that you carry of yourself, because it's how you carry yourself. That's how you're going to be able to express yourself to others. And people has this imaginary line around people once they know what their limitations are. A lot of times I always wondered, how do people know those imaginary lines? And I was talking to one of my mentors some weeks ago, and I'm asking, how do people know how far to go with each person? How do they know when to stop and not mess with someone? It's that consistency on how you carry yourself and how you don't wear your issues on your forehead, so that people don't see you and think, oh, here comes the trouble person. Even if they say it, if you are not a problematic individual, if you're just vocal enough to express yourself, and you will express yourself and not leave enmity in that expression, it's okay. Nobody wants to hear the truth sometimes because it's always bitter. But hey, if that's who you are, you've got to speak it. You go for it. Do it. Just do it in love. I'm going to wrap up because I know I have one more minute, but I want you all to join our Bridge to Freedom. From 12 to 12:30, we have a live chat. So some of the things that we can't really dig deep and dissect right now, you can join us and let's talk about it. How to overcome your obstacles through positive confession. Your obstacles are always going to be there, but you have to overcome it. And the only way to overcome it is seeing the possibility in it. And that possibility is endless, knowing that there's nothing that is too much to be done if we believe and we work at it. That work is important. WORK, not WALK. So all of those things matter. So I want to thank you for joining us. It is that time of the hour to stop. Join the Bridge to Freedom. Thank you for those who have joined this day, wherever you're joining from. Thank you for joining us. And let us continue to have this conversation. Hope to see some of you join us at the 12 noon live chat from 12 to 12:30. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.